A couple years ago, a video surfaced of Hajime Ishiyama, the creator of Attack on Titan, crying because they didn't think the ending was good.
I still have doubts within myself. Did I land it? I'm not even so sure, and I still struggle on this point, and I'm very sorry about that. I try not to cry.
Now, we all know the ending wasn't the best, but that's not what this video is about. Attack on Titan was an incredible story with in-depth characters and settings. So why did it turn out this way? Endings are hard to write, plain and simple. Is it upsetting the way it turned out? Absolutely, and it is 100% Hajime's fault. That being said, I don't blame him for messing it up. Ending a story is one of the hardest things you can do when storytelling, especially when said story goes on for years like Attack on Titan did. The reason for this is that when you start writing initially, you might have a baseline idea on how you want it to turn out. Maybe you don't even have that. But through the process of writing said story, you'll constantly come up with new things and ideas that you didn't have from the beginning. And in doing this, by the time you reach the ending, it might not be anything close to what you originally had in mind. Now, I'm not saying any of this to defend him. The ending still sucked. Both of them did. All I'm saying is that it's nothing to cry over. Suck it up. You made several stupid decisions with the last arc, both times, for their own varying reasons. That being said, don't dwell on it. The story till that point was an absolute masterclass that, despite its flaws, I myself, along with many others, still recommend to people as their first anime. It's just that good. So Attack on Titan's problem was that an amazing author who wrote a beautiful story couldn't for the life of him figure out how to end it in a way that stayed true to the story, the world, and the characters themselves, even if there were countless possibilities that were screaming at him in hindsight. As I was recording for this video, I just found this clip. Let's watch this because I heard it and it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was a work that no one knew about, but I had already started the story with the ending in mind, and the story ended up being read and watched by an incredible number of people, and it led to me being given a huge power that I didn't quite feel comfortable with. It would have been nice if I could have changed the ending. Writing manga is supposed to be freeing, but if I was completely free, then I should have been able to change the ending. I could have changed it and said I wanted to go in a different direction, but the fact is that I was tied down to what I had originally envisioned when I was young, and so manga became a very restrictive art form for me, similar to how the massive powers that Eren acquired ended up restricted.
Okay, no. That entire dialogue is wrong. Everything that was just said is wrong. What do you mean you couldn't change the ending? At any point in time, you could have been like, oh yeah, no, that's dumb as fuck. I should probably not do that. Like, what do you mean you couldn't change the ending? I would get if you'd be like, oh, corporations, they said that it would be too much work or something, something. That would make sense. Go rewatch Attack on Titan. Rewatch Attack on Titan. There are so many points where you could have gone a completely different direction. You did not need to go the route of oh, let's introduce time travel for no fucking reason. And then, oh yeah, by the way, everything that has ever been done in the entire show by every single character and every important plot point and every single thing is completely retconned and not actually meaningful now and way less impactful because it was all planned from the beginning because Eren Yeager is just such a Sigma and oh my god, we just need this in the story. It has to happen and he's gonna end the world and oh my god, everything was planned from the start. Dude, that is dumb as fuck. That entire line of thinking is the dumbest thing in the world. The dumbest thing in the world. Like, that did not need to happen at all. What do you mean you couldn't change it? What do you mean? Like, all right. Anyway, back to the video. Enough hating, but that I saw this video. I was like, I have to put this in because this is fucking ridiculous. Like, oh my god. All right, anyway. However, that's only one of the many reasons that a story might fall short when it comes to an ending. There have been countless stories, some new, some old, that have all had this problem, and they all have their own varying reasons as to why their endings fail. Now, I want to get one thing straight before I go on. Attack on Titan was a very special case of an incredible author messing up. I mean, it would be like if Breaking Bad had a bad ending. That's just how good Attack on Titan was. I mean, the thing was a masterpiece. Now, unfortunately, not every author is as talented as him. However, there is one thing I want you to understand. Talent does not just mean having a good idea. Obviously, One Piece doesn't have an ending yet. It's quite literally the longest running anime in history. But why is this? Well, the answer is it simply can't. Why would it end? It makes way too much money. And the world of One Piece is basically limitless in its possibilities at this point. Just look at Dragon Ball. There's tons of people prominent in the industry saying that if Dragon Ball ended, it would do real damage to Japan's economy, and One Piece is no different. However, Oda, the creator of One Piece, has stated that he does have plans on ending the story. Now, I want to make one thing clear. I hope it turns out amazing. I don't want any of these stories to end poorly. That being said, I don't have very high hopes for what it'll be. The story is simply too long and has had so much build up to the point that finding a truly meaningful way to end the story in a way that everyone enjoys seems impossible. Now, hopefully Oda can prove me wrong and do the impossible, because the days of the One Piece being able to just be the friends we made along the way or some shit is long past. It's way too in-depth to end with something like that now. If you think differently, let me know some of your thoughts or theories in the comments. And while you're there, you might as well like and subscribe. It takes less than a second. You get to stay tuned for the rest of my content. Okay, bye. So those are a few reasons why shows might end poorly, but I want to talk to you about the anime/manga that brought anime into the mainstream. Jujutsu Kaisen. Remember earlier when I said talent isn't just having a good idea? Well, that's because anybody can come up with a good idea, but it takes a truly talented individual to be able to bring that idea to life and fully flesh it out, including characters, settings, themes, etc., etc. Gege Akutami did not display that level of talent when writing Jujutsu Kaisen. Without spoiling anything about the manga, all I'm going to say is that in the Calling Games arc, which was just aired, 25 new, interesting, and important characters were added. Some more important than others, but that's besides the point. And that's not to mention the characters whose stories or character arcs haven't even been finished yet, with some being nowhere close to finishing. The reason that's important is because the Calling Games arc is the second to last arc in the story. To put it simply, the entire ending came several arcs before it should have. I'd say we should have gotten at least maybe 2 more of pure character development and growth before actually reaching the end, because let's not beat around the bush, the ending was absolutely terrible. There wasn't a single person, besides Satoru Gojo of course, who should have been in that fight. Maybe Yuta, but even he wasn't ready. And it's sad to say, because I love Jujutsu Kaisen. And it's not like it should have been hard for Gege to realize, even just like if he would read back the stuff that he was writing, to just sit there and realize and be like, yeah, I should probably wait. Honestly though, part of me feels like it had to do with the success of the anime at the time, and Gege just wanted to keep the hype for Jujutsu Kaisen going, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure a lot of you are mad about this opinion, but don't get me wrong, I'm saying this out of a place of love. I love Jujutsu Kaisen, and I truly wish that Gege would have just not rushed the ending, because that's really all it was. But if you think I'm wrong, which I'm sure a lot of you do, go ahead and tell me why in the comments. Honestly, Jujutsu Kaisen just suffered from a lack of care on the author's part. I feel like if Gege would have genuinely cared and not just been following the hype train, then things would have played out differently. But this video is not meant to be a hit piece on any of these shows, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Because if I keep going, I will honestly just hate on Jujutsu Kaisen, and that would be a whole nother video in and of itself. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. But yeah, that's about it. Bye.